it's the Southern Conspiracist back with another conspiracy, and today I'm going to be covering the Bohemian Grove. I know if you have not heard of this before that you will find this difficult to believe, but the facts are kind of hard to deny. Our leaders have been attending a social club called the Bohemian Grove every year for almost 100 years. This club is satanic. While there, they participate in what is called the cremation of care, in which a mock human sacrifice is done at the bottom of a 40-foot owl that many people insist is a rendition of the pagan god Moloch. Men are dressed in occult robes and chant, while homosexual activities are practiced. There are tales that the human sacrifice is real. Google Hunter S. Thompson, Troy Boner, and the Bohemian Grove if you would like to go further down the rabbit hole. Personally, I believe that these are real human sacrifices. It's just my gut instinct, but the atmosphere and the rituals are taken too seriously for these sacrifices to be mocked. Furthermore, history has proven that human sacrifice has been carried out throughout world history.
Peter, you've witnessed children being sacrificed at the Grove?
You know, I did, and I've made this very public. It is revolving around the case of the missing child case of Kevin Collins, and if anybody looks it up on the internet, they still say that it's an unsolved case. I've been to law enforcement in San Francisco. I made a mention of this for the first time back in 2003 while I was still in jail for another issue, and I thought I would be on death row. I, myself, Peter Alexander Chernoff, am one of 3 people that have witnessed ritualistic murders of children during the 80s up here, during the 80s. The other one is David Schurter, and the third person is Paul Bonacci, who was made well known in the book by Senator John DeCamp, The Franklin Cover-Up.
Peter, I'm filing suit against the Bohemian Club of San Francisco. I'm calling for an injunction of the continuation of the cremation of care. I want to see the end of the satanic rituals and the sacrifice of children and the molestation of children at the Grove. Going back a period of 130 years, there may be as many as 1,300 people in bodies that have been buried there. I want a dig. I'm calling for a dig. I'm calling for the cadaver dogs to come in and the equipment that can identify bodies that have been buried underneath the ground there. Are you in favor of that?
I would be, and it would be an interesting thing to see what happens. I can tell you from past experience and what I know from other sources, also firsthand, is they go way out of their way to dispose of bodies. And but I would definitely support that. You know, I watched a couple days ago, just to check on things, I watched a little video talking about the cremation of care, and they were making light of this. Well, the cremation of care, what it is, really, it's a discussion regarding population control. They're making decisions as to what group of millions of people they're going to genocide next, and we all have seen the genocides over the last 10, 15 years for anybody that's paying even a modicum of attention. I am one of 3 people that has publicly acknowledged being involved in ritualistic murder of children up in Bohemian Grove. Paul Bonacci being one of Nebraska, which you can read Senator John DeCamp's Franklin Cover-Up. It's online. And the second one is David Schurter. That's S-H-U-R-T-E-R. Google davidschurter.com.
Can we use your testimony in our lawsuit against the Grove?
Absolutely. I can tell you I'm not a fan of the courts or lawyers, but if you think, and maybe there's a turn, maybe there's a spiritual turn going in our favor, and the answer is yes. And I'll show you right here what I put out. I'll read it to you as you look at it. Doug reminded me it was actually 1984. I'm not real good at remembering dates, but at the Bohemian Grove, I was involved in a rather private ritual, Catholic, Nazi, satanic in nature, a service, a working, if you will, with 9 relative unknowns at the time, so to speak. A most unique killing ritual table with 9 retractable, long, thin, sharp knives. Blades.
Midsummer sets us free. You burned me once again.
Young Catholic Kevin Collins, snatched off the streets of San Francisco, was sacrificed. As he lay on the table, the knives were brought up through him. And after this, each participant, buoyed by the others, rose to prominence. Leaders of the minions, princes unto Mammon. I called it 9 knights, 9 arms, 9 blades. The participants, except for 1 or 2 I didn't mention, are Willie Brown, Arlen Specter, Barney Frank, Roger Mahoney, the LA Cardinal, Ratzinger, who's now the Pope, Robert Byrd, George Bush Sr., otherwise known as George Scherff, S-C-H-E-R-F-F.
You mean Magog? That's what they call him, the man who wages war against God in the final days of earth.
Yes. And Warren Buffett, and the Master of Ceremonies was Dr. Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino.
So they are involved in ritual murders, satanic, Luciferian.
They definitely have these during the 80s. I can't attest to what's going on there now. I believe that most of their work was, in certain arenas, was done at that time and prior. But a lot of the things that they've done, where they put things into motion that we're seeing now. Our military guys that are currently serving now, we've lost 5,000 or 6,000, but more than that number have suicided.
Have they not been sacrificed essentially to Satan?
That's what's going on.
Can we use this on film?
Absolutely, you can use this on film.
There's no way, no stretch of the imagination, no liberal understanding of scripture, no explanation that can be given that could possibly even explain a person's involvement in these such clubs, groups, and rituals as a Christian. If a politician names the name of Christ and they attend these functions, they are liars, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I hope that you will do your own research and then ask yourself, is this the leadership you want for your country, Christian or not? Are you okay with your leaders parading around in druid-like robes, having mock human sacrifices to the god Moloch? Is this the America you want? I wonder what else is going on behind closed doors, in the halls of power and in secret.
Hello, I'm Alex Jones, and I'm a radio and television host based in Austin, Texas. And for many years, I've been exposing the criminal activities of the global elite, also known as the New World Order. In my research, I come, well, eye to eye with something that's even hard for me to believe. And that's that the elite, again, the so-called establishment kings, those that know best, the visions of the anointed ones, are obsessed with the occult, from presidents to governors to the heads of industry. You see, for over 120 plus years in Northern California, in Sonoma County, on a 2,700-acre secluded redwood grove, leaders from around the world, prime ministers, chancellors, presidents, governors, again, the heads of industry, banking, academia, the media, Hollywood, only a select few, a little over 2,000 people, travel there to engage in bizarre, ancient Canaanite, Luciferian, Babylon mystery religion ceremonies. And I successfully infiltrated through the Secret Service, through the guards, through the Sonoma County Sheriff's Department. We were inside 4 hours. That's only one day out of the 2 weeks that they meet there for the admitted Summer Fire Festival of the Bohemian Club. I hope that our hidden cameras can give you at least a small piece of what I witnessed. Understand that these bizarre activities have been engaged in going back to 1873 and are not some new fanciful whim of the trendies on the West Coast. Presidents from Howard Taft to Herbert Hoover were on the membership roster. Not to mention, later, famous war general Dwight D. Eisenhower, later to become president. The roster of the Bohemian Club reads like a who's who of the elite. Look at this photo taken inside the Grove back in 1963. There you'll see Ronald Reagan. And sitting 2 people over from him, later to become president, Richard Milhouse Nixon, Bush Sr., documented member. And then, of course, there's his son. Now, the last 4 generations of Bushes have also attended the Skull and Bones Society at Yale, well known to be steeped in the occult. Then there's Bill Clinton, a frequent attendee. Upon closer inspection, the entire federal government at the highest levels is infested with Bohemian Club members. And it doesn't stop there. America's private run-for-profit Federal Reserve Bank, from its very inception in 1913, has been run by prominent members of the Bohemian Club. Central Bank Chairman Alan Greenspan was seen leaving the Bohemian Grove only 1 month before he was appointed chairman of the Federal Reserve. He had to be a made man. You're looking at an illustration from a November 1989 issue of Spy magazine. The writer's spin is obvious. Sure, they're elitist. Sure, they have some bizarre rituals. But what's the big deal? They're just having fun. How you doing, sir? Okay. Camp Seekers? Yeah. Oh. I'm Alex Jones. I make documentaries. I'm just curious. What do you think about Bohemian Grove?
I used to work there.
You used to work there?
Yeah.
And now you work at Camp Meeker?
No, I don't work. I live in Camp Meeker.
Oh, you live there?
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Did you ever watch the cremation of care?
No. No.
What'd you do at the...
I just worked there.
But, I mean,
Yeah.
you never saw them march around in the red robes? And
No.
Oh, really? That doesn't go on?
But yeah.
Okay. Thanks. The long history of men enjoying themselves has even been written about in the gossip column of the San Francisco Chronicle, writing that a man on his own often gets invited back to the camp by gay bohemians. Even 100-year-old annals have admitted the homosexual activities. After escaping the sheriff's department, Mike and I traveled high into the hills to wait until dark and the beginning of the cremation of care ceremony. First off, I wanted to draw your attention to the program that was given out to the spectators, or the viewers. I guess an occultist would call them novices. Figure of a human body burning in the flames. In fact, I've shown it to people that are experts in anatomy, to actual doctors, and they say that the anatomical size is that of a baby or small child. Notice how large the cranium is in comparison to the torso, that is the ribs. Understand, ladies and gentlemen, this is from the program itself, given out to the establishment lackeys witnessing these sinister activities. Remember, in Babylon and Tyre, they would throw their children into fiery pits. Look at the size of the hands compared to the rest of the body. Only children show these anatomical details. Now, after about 10 more minutes of music, suddenly, all around the owl, activity began. Here is the main central part of the ritual.
Which would pursue us here, has lost its power under these friendly trees. So shall we burn thee once again this night, flames that eat thine effigy. We shall read the sign, Midsummer sets us free.
You shall burn me once again! Now believe, flame, which hither ye have brought from regions where I reign. Ye fools and priests, I spit upon your fire.
Wow. Prince of all mortal wisdom, Owl of Bohemia, we beseech thee, grant us thy counsel. Begone, dull care. Fire shall have its will of thee. Begone, dull care. And all the winds make merry with thy dust. Hail, fellowship's eternal flame. Once again, midsummer sets us free.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, when you see that black edge coming in, that was the field from the camera. There you see the funeral pyre burning with the effigy of a human, or it could be real, ladies and gentlemen. There's been a lot of strange going-ons in that area of Northern California, but this is what the establishment is into right here in America. Republican, Democrat, you name it. They're all working on the same team. Ladies and gentlemen, it's called world government, the New World Order, dehumanization. It's not a joke. It's deadly serious. Unfortunately, they've been breeding societies to think everything's a joke. I'm here to tell you truth is stranger than fiction.
Well, folks, there you have it. You make your own decisions. You make your own determinations. As always, protect your energy. Protect your peace. Like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.